Okay, so we're going to talk about wheel selection in this particular episode. This is the wheel rim setup. All right. Now, the whole concept of building the car around the wheels. All right. We're always building around something, right? Like before I've talked about the engine, you know, we build the body around the engine. So we build the engine, we set it down, we see, okay, this is our height, you know, and this is what we build around. And then in this particular car, we take the Dremel, which is my favorite rotary tool, and we grind the inner fender so the headers can come out and not scrub. Okay, we grind the firewall down. Okay, sometimes we make our own firewalls and we'll just build it around. Sometimes we don't even have inner fenders. If we do have inner fenders, we'll build them custom fabricated around the suspension or the headers or whatnot. Okay. So on this one, we Dremeled it to the point to where it sets just like it's supposed to. Now, on the wheels, you know, wheels are everything as far as getting the right look and getting the right lay. Okay, I'm really into scratch building my wheels nowadays. I'm also into, you know, any type of hybrid or any type of stock wheel that I can come across that actually does what I want it to do. So we're going to do a little rundown here of how this would work. We'll go on the front wheels first. Okay. So let's check this out. Okay. This is a rim, like a racing rim, with one of the Burns front runner rubber on the front. Now, this wheel would totally work. You see? I mean, it works fine. Right? But this right here is kind of like the smallest diameter that I would start off with on a build. I could run that wheel and be totally fine with it. It does not impede whatsoever with my fender height or the inner workings of the front suspension that would be scratch built. Okay, so that wheel would work. Now, visually, when I look at it, it's not that bad. I kind of like it. You know, I could rock it. It's not a problem. But this 79 does have a pretty big fender area. So I would actually want to fill it up as much as I could without getting into the fender diameter or the suspension. Right? So this wheel right here we'll set it right here. It's starting to rain out here, guys. I'm going to have to edit this. And these wheels are actually out of a Top Fuel kit. And there again, with the height of them, they do not impede with the fender height whatsoever. And also, the GTX has got a big fender well. Big fender well right there. So these wheels actually fill it up nice. So on this wheel right here, we can see that we can put the body down and it's perfect. You know, it's the perfect height and everything. Now we can take this wheel right here and try to do it. And what we'll notice is just before the body lays on the ground, we get contact with the top of the wheel and the bottom of the inner fender. Now when that happens, you have interference. That's what you don't want. So just something ever so slight as, you know, this wheel right here being just a little bit thinner than this wheel, you got scrubbage. So I could take this wheel off and put one of these wheels on here and it would work. But that's what I'm saying. You're talking like millimeters. Or even less in some instances of, you know, from having a successful lay to, you know, something that's not going to work, right? So and same with the rear end. Let's slide it up here. Same with the rear end. Let's go with talk about the rear wheel tires. All right. One of the old school tires used to be this one right here, which was it's a fat, slick Goodyear. Came in, you know, like the 70 Chevelle model. Actually came in the 79 Camaro kit too. This one right here. This is, you know, the drag version. Okay. This one will go in here, you know, not a problem. Of course, we're going to have a narrow fabricated rear axle, depending on how fat the wheel actually ends up being. But for example purposes, I want to get back to what I was wanting to show you. Okay, so you got this one, right? You have that height there. This is one of the newer ones that's out. It actually has the tempo printed on it. MA Trace Masters, which is basically the same size as the old school one. Maybe a little bit fatter, but basically the same height. Okay, basically the same height. All right, then you have like my most famous one that I love is this Goodyear drag slick. I've talked in other videos about what kits you can get it in. But this is my bread and butter tire right here. If I have any way to put this on a model, I will, just because I love the thickness. If you can see the differences in this one and this one, you can see this is a lot thicker, big fat meat. And the height is probably just a tad bit, just a tad bit. But that's my favorite one right there. If I have, you know, if I have it to put on one, I'll use that one. Now we come to like the biggest one in the series, which is this one comes in the top fuel kits, and you can see by comparison right here. Look at that. A lot taller than mine. You know, way taller than like the one that comes in the 79 kit, right? A lot fatter. Just overall big meat, right? But there's nothing wrong with the big meat. I mean, it goes back to, you know, engineering. Now I could run any one of these tires. Any one of them I could run on this build. But any one that I chose to run, I would have to build the car differently. Okay? Follow what I'm saying. I could use any one of these as far as a rear tire to put under this Camaro. But depending on which one I used, it would determine what way the car actually got built. So when I speak about variables, this is what I mean. Depending on what you got to build with, depends on what way you actually end up building. And that variable can go from model to model, depending on body style, depending on engineering, you know, and fabrication, the whole nine. So, like, say, other things you have to take into account too is, like, say if we wanted to run this big fat one back here, okay, we could run it, right? But what we would do was we would have to have a really narrow rear end, you know, which is fine because racing rear ends are narrow anyway. We're just going to put this right here so you can see. Hoping this thing will focus here. Let me see. Come on, focus. Cleaned up there. Anyway, that's the biggest one you got. Okay, and you can see that we can run it. Not a problem. We would just have to build the rear end. We would have to build the rear suspension and the cockpit around that wheel. There's another thing. What I'm saying is when you're building, you're always building around something. You know, you're not saying, oh, well, this is not going to work. You know, this is not going to fit. No, you're always molding, massaging, fabricating, building around something, right? And by building around each component, you actually get the vision that you're seeking. Okay, so we can run the biggest, fattest one. This one comes on the top fuel dragsters, funny cars, the pro sportsmans. That's the tire right there that comes on all of them. Okay, now the one that I haven't decided which one I'm going to run on this one, but going back to the scratch build thing too, this right here is a little bit more of a cosmetic thing in the series, and I don't want to, you know, get off topic of how to lay it, but it does incorporate the whole aesthetic part of the build. Like, okay, so I'm sitting here trying to choose out, okay, Snow White, what kind of wheels do you put on her, right? So I have this center line here, so I'm thinking, okay, I could just, you know, do straight up chromage under there, which would look wonderful. It would match with the engine. Or I could do something like this rim right here out of the double dragster kit. And then, of course, I would try to put some kind of like a Chevrolet chrome rim insert right there. Right? Cover that up. And I'd have the white, match the body color, and then the chrome insert. I could go that way. It's not a problem. I could go straight up, you know, like I said, straight up chrome right? Just straight up chrome. That's good. Then I came across, you know, this tire right here, building I took the rim out of the 1965 Chevy Stepside kit reveal, and then I got this inner rim from I believe it was a Viper kit, and I cut off the back part of it to use the insert. Okay, so you have a custom scratch built rim right there, right? With the white, leaving it white, you know, that goes with Snow White theme, right? Tub out the wheel, and that's what you have. Let me move these out of the way. That's what you have right there. Okay. So wheel rim setup is crucial. It's absolutely crucial to getting, you know, the right stance you want, the right look you want, and to get your model to lay the way you want it to lay. Right? Everything counts when you're doing this. And I mean, you got to massage, you know, massage and massage some more. But you could spend a long time trying to get the right wheel rim set up for your ride. And wheel rim setup is crucial. Now, these right here is another way I could go on the rims. You know, I could take this rim here, Dremel out the center, and then wrap a wheel around there, and then I'll have a scratch built. I could do a chrome, center cap, and then I'll have a rear scratch built wheel. Right? I could take these inner pieces. I put a chrome piece on there. I don't know why my camera's not focusing. But I could take that, and I could, you know, put a chrome piece in the middle of there, wrap some rubber around it, and there's another scratch build. Maybe paint it white, whatnot. All right, so there is some design and engineering and fabricating aspects of how to lay your model. Wheel rim choice is crucial. It's absolute crucial into getting it to lay the way you want it to lay and to look the way you want it to look. Those are some of the variables that you can go through when you're trying to figure out how in the world are you going to build this car. All right, so that's all I got for right now. Stay tuned for the next episode of how to lay your model. MODELMIND72. Peace and love to all.